Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wassalatu wassalamu ala al-khatam al-anbiya wa mursalin sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Welcome to ShuraTV, the prison outreach program series where we bring to you men and women who have been incarcerated, chaplains, administrators, academians, to speak about corrections from an Islamic perspective, sharing with our community so that you can see the depth of the work that is being done and that has been done in this nation with Islam in the jails and prisons. Today I'm so excited to have with us Dr. Mustapha Kulungu, who is not only a chaplain currently active in the U.S. Navy, he is also a Muslim chaplain in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and he has also served as a Muslim chaplain in the state prison. So he comes with the unique skill and life experience of being a chaplain in multiple settings, and I wanted him just to share with us his experiences, the differences that he has found in the ministry, in the state system and the federal system, as well as what he's doing now with the Navy. And I think this is just so significant that our community is aware of these men and women chaplains who work behind the scenes that often you don't know about, but they are representing Islam, and they're solidifying us in places where the society will see Islam in action. Dr. Kulungu, it's a little bit about your studies as well as your experiences as a chaplain.
Alhamdulillah, again, thank in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, and again we thank Allah for this wonderful occasion and opportunity. So we bear witness Allah is the only creator, and that Muhammad, to whom the Quran was revealed, is his last prophet and messenger, peace be upon him. So alhamdulillah. So I'm saying most stuff in English because I'm speaking in the English audience. So I'm a modern thinker, 21st Muslim thinker. So I don't, that's my preface. Just people should understand. If you don't say it in Arabic, the Muslims. That's the beginning of my talk. But to answer your question, now, education. You asking from Islamic standpoint, or from the whole shebang? Right. Okay, I got you. So yes, again, I'm a native of the country called the Congo, or Democratic Republic of the Congo, aka also known as Zaire, and I was born there, grew up there, and thank God I left when I was around 16 or 17. Went to Egypt as a student, got a scholarship, again. I studied in Al-Azhar, so, and thank God I was there, and did my junior high, last year of junior high, middle school, whatever they were called, last year of middle school, as well as the high school there. So I enjoyed. Thank God it was a blessing to be studying in Egypt back then as a young man, and I enjoyed the learning of many of the school of Al-Azhar. So it prepared me for the person who I became today, alhamdulillah. So that's blessing. So from there, I went to Medina, finished the study there, Islamic University of Medina. So I was a young man, left Medina, and came to United States, and in the beginning of 2000, in the beginning of 1990. At the end of 1991, so basically, that's what I came in. So here I am. So, and in my coming to the United States, I came as a student. So basically, I had a chance to be involved in the first community that's embraced me as a person. Was a Masjid Ibadallah in Los Angeles. So I was under the tutelage, leadership of Imam. With this Sadiq Safir, if the people love the Arabic pronunciation. So basically, I enjoyed being under his leadership. So basically, that's a community that's embraced me. So as a student, went to school and things of that nature, got married, and as the time went on, I was he also gave me a recommendation to get a job as a chaplain at the California Department of Corrections. So my first assignment was at the California Substance Treatment Facility, California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility, which is the largest until now facility in California. It has 8 yards. That's bigger than any other institution. One time we had close to about over 8,000 inmates. So those kind of stuff. And there was, and as a chaplain there, I was the only chaplain, because I replaced one of the chaplain. I believe it was Omar Shakir, who had left. So he was there as a part-time. I got a full-time job, and from there, it was very difficult because being a chaplain, you have 8 yards. You couldn't do Juma. I was able to do Juma, at least 1-2 Juma in a given Friday. It's just too huge. And but alhamdulillah, that was an experience. That's I built from there. Prior to coming there, as a chaplain, I was a social worker, and getting a lead social worker for the Tulare County when I finished my school, and I was volunteering, to go to California substance abuse, and because I was helping Imam Omar Shakir, and the one that had left. So, and the Dr. Michael Raymond, the Native American chaplain, we established a relationship. After he left, he got back in touch with me, so I was going there on Fridays to give Juma. So I would leave my job because I was in the city called Porterville. That was my office. On Friday, I had a latitude. I would leave my office around 11 o'clock. We drive to Cochran, New Cochran. That's substance abuse. They call it New Cochran. So, and they give Juma over there, 2 places, and Dr. Raymond would take me places. So think of that nature. So that's why. And then when the position became open, they asked me if I would like to apply for the position. So they gave me the position. Although some people had opposed to, but the warden said no. He knows the institution. I just want the story to be told. I know the institution. I've been there longer than anybody else, and he's going to give me the job. Some people within the African American community, they want to get a job. But that's Imam Siddiq stood up by my side. He didn't withdraw his endorsement. So alhamdulillah, that's a statement of a leader and of Muslims. So, and then I became a chaplain. So I worked for 9 years with the substance abuse treatment facility, and I live in Bakersfield. It was too far, almost about 73 miles. So I transferred to Etachapi, California Correctional Institution. So, which was about 25 miles less, which make it, fewer, 25 miles fewer than Cochran. So, alhamdulillah, so I was there. So I was a chaplain there, and we go from there. So, and also the same thing I did, I recommended Imam Ayub, Sheikh Ayub Saleh for the job for the California substance abuse. So he replaced me there. And when I left, after putting almost 11 years with the state, I was recruited by Imam Ibrahim Abdulaziz, and whom you work together. So alhamdulillah, so I transferred to the Fed, and pretty much in terms of the differences with the federal government, again, my experience of working as a chaplain at the substance abuse treatment facility gave me a breadth of how to deal with the mindset of prisoners. How they think. So you think like them, and that's why many things didn't make sense when we were taught, no, you got to think like a prisoner, because in order you have to be ahead of the games. In order to understand how they think, the quickness, because they're very witty when it comes to thinking. They think faster than we are, and to learn. So the good and the bad. And many inmates, Muslim, have taught me a lot of games the inmate play. So you learn, because a teacher must be a student as well. So I learned from a lot of brothers. But Imam, this the games in play. If you see such a things, this is the thing. Because when people know that you are sincere with your teaching Islam, and you do not mistreat them You treat them as a human with dignity. Not just because they're Muslim as well, non-Muslim as well. So you build that relationship. They know there's a line that you cannot cross, but you still treat them as a human being. You talk to them, you laugh with them, because in order to diffuse, I call my job as a chaplain, the same philosophy that I have used in terms of when I first got to California Department of Correction. There were a lot of stuff going on after the Imam had left. They were asking me, so I would tell them, no, my job is as a firefighter. I'm still extinguishing the fire. That's what's got there. But I find myself as a chaplain, being a firefighter who extinguish the fire, or again diffuse a tension that might be, and that could be an undercurrent that's going on. For our job is to diffuse that tension, extinguish the fire, and that's we call it to keep the climate in a more subtle, more humane, and also we act as a thermostat in the vehicle. If there's no thermostat, it gives us the temperature of the vehicle, and in order to regulate even what cool and what in heat. So to maintain a perfect balance, so not to overheat the car or to overcool it. And that's the same thing the chaplain we do, and that's the same perspective we're using even in the military, because to keep things not going over, to prepare people mentally, spiritually, to be tough, resilient, to do things. But back to the prison, Federal Bureau of Prison, I'm going to be, again, going back and forth, because there's those three places. My first assignment with the Federal Bureau of Prison was it's ADX. That's mean administrative with the super max, which are the world most secure prison. And being over there, I was fortunate to have met a lot of dignitaries from Muslim country, from Lebanon, Morocco, and other Turkish and many other places. Ambassador, thing of that nature. So politicians who came over there, and they were proud to present that we have a Muslim chaplain. I spoke Arabic language, I spoke French. I speak it, not I spoke it, but I spoke to them there. So basically, it was a win-win situation. So the prison didn't have a problem. So, and they asked a lot of questions. So I went to Supermax. A Supermax, that's what we talk about. The people call us. We keep most of the sold that was secret to Russian, Chinese, you name them. That's what we have for the Unibomber, the underwear bombers, the shoe bombers, all these crazy names, man. And the list goes on. And that's what we also have the 9, the only remaining, 9/11 survivor, Zakaria Moussaoui, and a French born of Moroccan descent. He's over there. So this is not a secret, because the stuff you can find them on the internet, Google, whatever. But I'm just saying, but those people which means the terrorist unit, that's what they call it. So so I work over there pretty much. I not befriend the image, but I conduct a lot of interview, and because I spend a lot of time over there, and most of them, sister Arabs, they want to talk to me in Arabic language, and which was very things, and I was told that I could speak in Arabic language, but when I found that there was a case said that's no, yes, the chaplain, the Muslim chaplain, can speak in Arabic language because the inmate sue them. I mean, it's crazy stuff, man. I was amazed. But anyway, so I learned how to deal with those people. And among them, there are some people who are religiously educated. I'm not going to mention the names, but things of that nature. But yes, so I also learned from them to understand where they're coming from, how they interpret it, because as the sister was mentioned, the student doing it, we call it ethnographical studies. I was doing an ethnographical study, understanding, because I live there, put 8 hours, sometimes beyond of my hours dealing with this image, because I spent about 5-6 hours in the supermarkets. H unit, J unit, K unit, in the shoe, visiting, ask them a lot of questions. And I wanted to understand how they were thinking, the process, and their studies, which type of book they have been reading, or they have read in the past, and what had shaped their understanding of Islam. So the difference was there because most of the people were there were Arabic speaking or Pakistani speaking, Hindu Pakistani, subcontinent, but the majority of them is speak Arabic, and they wanted to ask a question in Arabic language, many other stuff, and some of them you can see they have been shaped by where they came from, and especially people, whether the Muslim Brotherhood elements who came from Egypt and they got locked up, sent over here, so or they got involved with the sheikh, the blind sheikh, all kind of crazy stuff. But it's a learning in terms of the image. Now, California Department of Correction, many brothers who became Muslim, they were very sincere. Some of them, just like you found it outside as well. So it's not just the prison. But people, the only thing the time they have to study, they study a lot. They read a lot with a limited environment. And that's what you also see. Most of them is the image teaching somebody how to read Arabic language. You see the quickness in the reading because they didn't read it from the teacher. Maybe via a videotape that's been recorded back then, VHS. That's what brother will learn. Again, where the secretary of the former secretary of state Rumsfeld said that you go to war with the weapon you have. So this the same thing apply analogy. That means these brothers they were utilizing the tool that they had in order to go to war, meaning that in order to study Islam. Because that's what they have. They didn't have a lot of material. A budget wasn't big budget for the Muslims because the people, most of the supervisor or CRM were not the Muslims. CRM, that means community resource manager, were not the Muslims. And most of the institution didn't have a Muslim chaplain who can, I guess, give them a guidance, which book to buy, which not. So the inmates were buying book that they were told, through the correspondence, to the mail from other people. So basically, they didn't have a lot of large, huge library for the Islamic and sound Islamic education other than whatever they have. So they did the best they could. And some of them studied hard, and as a matter of fact, they even became a little bit of friction between people who became a Muslim chaplain didn't study Islam or couldn't read the Quran in Arabic language. And the image say, how can you lead us in the prayer? You can even recite Al-Fatiha correctly. It's shameful, but it's the truth. So, and I challenge many of the brothers, hey, you want to study, we're ready to teach you how to read the things. You want to benefit, you benefit. You don't, then it is what it is. So, but the image were very sincere in studying. You found it, like I said, both sides. Outside also, and arrogance, stupidity, or resiliency, the courage and all stuff. Most people, we all human, we make a mistake. But like I said earlier, you always will learn from the environment. Hear the things. It's true that we are the product of the environment. If you work in the prisons, as a student of a psychologist, social psychologist myself, studying the environment, you are influenced by the environment. You are what you eat. You are the product of what of your society. And who are the societies? The people. We also influence the society. So we work in the prison. We influence the mindset of the people that we work with, dealing with the image, teaching about Islam, about again re-entry, other form of what again preparing them for to re-enter the society, or to help them to accept the reality that this is the home. They're going to be there. So how they can be able to accept it and live with it and peacefully, because they have to pay the debt to society. So those kind of stuff. So it takes a lot of courage. So
let me ask you this:
yes, sir.
If you were to talk to young people with the opportunities of
Yes, sir.
being a chaplain, in the military or in the correctional field,
Yes, sir.
what would be your?
Now my question is, if I would like to talk to them if they want to, as a career-wise.
Yeah, career.
So just thank you. So I remember when we were coming in, when we were in the state, Bayan Graduate School wasn't there, Hartford Seminar wasn't there. So most of the people who became a chaplain, such in the Federal Bureau of Prison, went to different education. Most of them came from overseas or study here then. Gather staff and like Imam Oliver Muhammad and Hussein Sheikh, they study under, I believe, the Islamic thought, or what they call it, the Saudi
Islamic Society.
Yeah, so whatever the name of that school at which they shut down. So they study under there. So those the only place was producing Muslim in higher education. Although they could have been back then. Also, people really didn't care about studying Islam, because after 9/11, there's an avalanche of a Muslim school, because everybody want to know what the Muslim think, because some of them is a money-making adventure, because they write books and sell. So we have a lot of stuff. But career-wise, in the state of chaplains is a marvelous job, is a meritorious job, is an honorable job to be a chaplain. And there's a difference between being an imam in a community and being a chaplain. That's have to be said. Yeah, because the environment, the setting dictates what's going on, what's going to take place. But because of and therefore the training that the chaplain should receive must be diversified. If you're going to become a chaplain and dealing with the correctional settings, and you're going to be also shaped by the environment, because you're going to be in a prison system. You're always security-minded. And I remember working, thing with the nature. So, but if I'm going to encourage people who wants to take a chaplain as a career, that means so they have to study Islam from those new schools that university we have, and that's they can either, if they have to meet the criteria that's the set by the Federal Bureau of Prisons in terms of schoolings, how many credit they need to do, and again get the education and be involved as a member of the community. You get it now. There are many opportunities now. The Bureau of Prison is getting increasing the number of Muslim imams. When I came in, we only had about maybe after you have left, retired Imam Aziz retired, we only had maybe 10 or 11 left. Yeah. So then now the numbers, including myself, because I'm still officially work with an active, getting inactive with the employer of the Federal Bureau of Prison, and but because I took some time off in 2018 to come to active duty and those kind of stuff. But my name's still there. If you look on my job, they will say that he's in the military, and that's part of what they do. So the job working for Federal Bureau of Prison, in terms of the difference, that's many people who became a chaplain for the California Department of Correction, even so you did sometimes, as long as the crime was not the heinous crime, whatever minor theft, whatever things, you still can get a job as a chaplain for the state. That's the differences. And working for the state is not a law enforcement position, so the background investigation is not very what they will not scrutinize it, to the point that it's very again in depth. 7 years background and so forth. So that's the differences. And the state of California, the way the Muslim made it, I guess you only need a high school diploma. That's the differences. But although other faith, the Jewish and the Protestant, you got to have at least a BA and some of them an MA. So the Native American, you don't, because of the training is one-on-one. Right. So although most of them who have been Native American have been also have the other BA or background in the Native American study, which you can study from there. So those things of the nature. But for the Federal Bureau of Prison, when you want to work for Federal Bureau of Prison, you got to have a clean record. And when we came in, we were older. They gave us age waiver. They waive our age. And the same thing when I went to the military. I'm in my 50s. Thank God, so they gave age waiver. So because they need people and things of that nature, I'm encouraging people. If you want to, you can make a career out of it. Working for Federal Bureau of Prison as a chaplain, and he pays a lot of money, over 70,000, over 75 in California, 78,000. That's middle class income. So you making a good money, halal money, teaching Islam. So you can I tell people, my job, when even in the military now, I came to the military out of my own revolution. Nobody forced me to become a military. I'm proud. Said that thank Allah, that's because it didn't happen by the will of God, Allah, the Almighty, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, for me to become a chaplain in the Navy. So nobody can say that, I should have been in the Navy. No, I'm proud. And again, in December, God willing, I'm transitioning to the reservist unit or component. But being a chaplain, if people who wants to, you can go. I'm encouraging them, if you go to school, because since the state doesn't require in higher education, then go to work for the federal. If you finish your school, you go to Abayan, or you go to a Hartford Seminary, or you study in Egypt, Medina, any other in the Zaytuna University, or University of Muhammad, 6, in Morocco, any other university, Malaysia, wherever you study, include you study here in the United States. Whether you studied in USC, they have Islamic study, you can specialize on it. UCLA, many other stuff. So when you finish, then, engage in the Federal Bureau of Prison, and that means you can become a chaplain in terms of to help them. So for the youth, I will encourage them to do those, those two places, either go to Federal Bureau of Prison or the military, because the Federal Bureau of Prison have more prison than the state of California. Yeah. And they're always going to have a lot of opening, a lot of people retiring, and plus you get a law enforcement package. Yeah. So you can get it better than that. So you are an experience. So you are the example. So we follow it. So you enjoy life after that. But it's an honorable job to be it, a chaplain, in one of the, those environment. So.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakallah khairan for joining us here on ShuraTV with the Prison Outreach series, where we have just heard from Dr. Mustapha Kulungu, who is a Navy chaplain in the Federal Bureau of Prisons, who has served, honorably representing our community. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless him and bless his family. And may Allah bless each and every one of you for following us on ShuraTV. Continue to support us so that we can be able to assist those in the jails and the prisons and the administrators and the Muslim chaplains with the materials that they need to present Islam in its best light. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.